Breaking news, Amorim confirms Bruno and Mainu will miss Newcastle game, full press conference breakdown. Welcome back to United Daily Updates, your #1 trusted source for all things Manchester United. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel because we bring you the latest news, detailed analysis, and honest opinions about your beloved Red Devils every single day. Today we have some major news coming from Ruben Amorim'S press conference ahead of Friday's massive Premier League clash against Newcastle United at Old Trafford. And I'm not going to lie to you, some of this news is going to hurt. Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo are both out. Harry Maguire and Matthijs de Ligt are still unavailable. This is a serious injury crisis, and we need to talk about what it all means. In this article, I'm going to break down everything Amorim said in his pre-match press conference. We will look at the injury updates, we will discuss how United might cope without their captain, we will talk about the young players stepping up, and we will analyze what this means for Friday's game against Newcastle. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into everything you need to know. The injury news that United fans didn't want to hear. Let me start with the bad news because there is no point in hiding it. Bruno Fernandes will not play against Newcastle United. Kobbie Mainoo will not play either. And if you were hoping for some good news about when they might return, well, Amorim was not very specific about that. When asked directly if Bruno or Kobbie would be available for the Newcastle game, Amorim was clear. He said no, they are both still recovering. But here is the small bit of good news. He doesn't think it will take a lot of time for them to return. He also said that Kobbie Mainoo will likely return faster than Bruno Fernandes. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if Kobbie is coming back faster, maybe he could be available for the game after Newcastle. That would be the match against Liverpool on January 5th. Or maybe he comes back for the Carabao Cup game against Tottenham on December 19th. We don't know for sure because Amorim didn't give us exact dates. As for Bruno, it sounds like he might be out for a bit longer. When a reporter asked how long Bruno would be out for, Amorim said he didn't want to say. He has an idea, of course, but he wants to wait and see. That kind of answer usually means the club is being cautious. They don't want to set a date and then have to push it back if the recovery takes longer than expected. Now let's talk about the other injured players. Harry Maguire and Matthijs de Ligt are still not available for the Newcastle game. The good news is that Amorim said they are working with them and they might be ready for the next game after Newcastle. So we could see them back against Liverpool, which would be huge because that game is going to be very difficult. This injury situation is really serious. United are missing their captain, their best young midfielder, and 2 important centre-backs. That is a lot of quality missing from the team. And Newcastle United are no easy opponents. They are a good team with good players and they will come to Old Trafford thinking they can get a result. How did we get here? Understanding the injury crisis. Before we move forward, let me explain how United ended up in this situation. Because some fans might be wondering, why are so many players injured at the same time? Bruno Fernandes picked up a soft tissue injury during the game against Aston Villa. He was taken off at half-time, and at first people thought it was a tactical change. But then Amorim confirmed it was an injury. Soft tissue injuries can be tricky. They include things like muscle strains, hamstring problems, and calf issues. These injuries need time to heal properly because if you rush a player back, they can get injured again. Kobbie Mainoo has also been dealing with injury problems recently. The exact nature of his injury hasn't been fully explained, but he has missed a few games now. The good news is that Amorim thinks he will be back soon, which suggests it's not too serious. Harry Maguire has been out for a while with his own injury issues. Same with Matthijs de Ligt. Both of them are important players, especially in Amorim's system which uses 3 centre-backs. When you are missing 2 of your centre-backs, it makes everything more difficult. Some people might say United have an injury crisis every season. And you know what? They would have a point. United seem to have more injuries than other top clubs. Why is that? Well, there could be many reasons. Maybe the training is too intense. Maybe the medical staff need to do things differently. Maybe some players are just unlucky. We don't know for sure, but it is definitely something the club needs to look at. What we do know is that Amorim now has to deal with this situation. He has been at United for just a few months, and he is already facing a major injury crisis. This is not how he would have wanted things to go. But this is the reality of managing Manchester United. Problems come at you fast, and you have to find solutions quickly. Playing Lisandro Martinez in midfield. Was it an emergency solution? One of the most interesting questions in the press conference was about Lisandro Martinez playing in midfield against West Ham. If you watched that game, you probably remember seeing Leica in a much more advanced position than usual. He was playing almost as a defensive midfielder. This was strange because Amorim had previously said that Martinez would only play in midfield in an emergency situation. Well, the reporter picked up on this and asked if it was indeed an emergency, and what Amorim plans to do for the next block of games while Bruno is out. Amorim's answer was interesting. He said United have other players. They need to try different ways of playing. He also mentioned Jack Fletcher, one of the young players who made his debut recently, and said he did a very good job. Amorim made it clear that when opportunities like this come up, United need to give space to young players like Jack and others. He said they will find solutions. So what does this tell us? It tells us that Amorim is willing to be flexible. He is not going to stick to the same plan when he doesn't have the players available. He is going to experiment. He is going to give chances to young players. And he is going to try different tactical approaches. This is actually quite exciting in a way. Yes, it would be better if everyone was fit and available. But these situations can sometimes reveal new options. Maybe Jack Fletcher becomes a regular part of the team. Maybe we discover that Lisandro Martinez can actually do a good job in midfield. Maybe some other young player steps up and surprises everyone. Of course, there is also a risk. Experimenting during a busy period of games can go wrong. If United lose to Newcastle, then to Liverpool, then to whoever comes next, people will start to panic. The pressure will build. And Amorim will face criticism for his team selections. But what choice does he have? He cannot play Bruno Fernandes if Bruno is injured. He has to work with what he has got. And to be fair to Amorim, he seems confident. When asked how confident he is going into this difficult block of games, he said he is confident United can win any game. He believes in the team even without many players. He thinks if they are really focused, they can win. That is the kind of attitude you want from your manager. He is not making excuses. He is not complaining about the injuries. He is just getting on with the job. Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey, the young stars rising. Let me talk about the young players for a minute because this is actually one of the positive stories coming out of this difficult period. Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey both made their debuts recently, and from what Amorim said in the press conference, they have handled it really well. When asked about how the young players have been in the days since their debuts, Amorim said they are normal. They are good kids. Their behavior during these weeks has been really good. And here is the important part. Amorim said he hasn't noticed them acting different just because they played for Manchester United. They are still focused, still preparing properly, and they believe they can play. That is exactly what you want to hear. This is important because sometimes young players can get ahead of themselves. They make their debut, they get some attention on social media, and suddenly they think they have made it. But the reality is that making 1 or 2 appearances for Manchester United is just the beginning. You need to keep working hard, keep improving, and keep showing the right attitude. It sounds like Jack Fletcher and Shea Lacey understand this. And that is good news for Manchester United. The club has always been about giving young players a chance. That is part of the club's identity. Players like Marcus Rashford, Scott McTominay, and others all came through the academy and became important first-team players. Could Fletcher and Lacey follow the same path? It's too early to say. But the fact that Amorim is willing to give them chances is encouraging. He is not the kind of manager who just talks about youth development. He actually does it. He proved that at Sporting, where he gave chances to young players and helped them develop. With Bruno and Kobbie out, we might see even more of these young players in the coming weeks. That could be good for their development. Playing real games, facing real pressure, dealing with real opponents. That is how you learn. Training is important, but nothing beats actual match experience. Of course, United fans will hope that these young players don't have to carry too much responsibility too soon. The ideal situation would be for Bruno and Kobbie to come back quickly, and for the young players to get minutes here and there to continue their development. But if the injuries last longer than expected, Fletcher and Lacey might find themselves playing bigger roles than anyone anticipated. The impossible task. How do you replace Bruno Fernandes? This was one of the most revealing parts of the press conference. A reporter asked Amorim how you replace Bruno Fernandes. How do you copy what he brings to the team? Bruno has created more chances than any other player in the Premier League this season. He is involved in everything. So how do you fill that gap? Amorim's answer was honest. He said it is impossible to replace Bruno. He actually told the team that same morning that it is impossible. But then he said something interesting. He said if there is a good thing about this situation, it is that a lot of people will need to step up. Think about what Amorim is saying here. He is acknowledging that Bruno is irreplaceable in terms of pure ability. But he is also challenging the other players to step up. He is saying this is an opportunity for everyone to show what they can do. United cannot rely on one player for everything. Amorim went on to explain just how much United rely on Bruno. It is not just the creation of chances. Bruno organizes the team. He is involved in every set piece. He is the one telling other players where they should be when there is a substitution. He understands every position on the field. He pays attention to every detail. When another reporter asked what United would lose in terms of leadership without Bruno, Amorim's answer was simple. Everything. He said they lose everything. Because Bruno is not just a good player, he is a leader in every sense of the word. But here is where Amorim showed his positive mindset again. He said this is a very good opportunity for other players to become leaders. He mentioned Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw specifically. These are experienced players who should be able to step up and take on more responsibility. United need more leaders in the group because injuries like this can happen to anyone. This is actually a fair point. Manchester United have relied too much on Bruno for too long. Yes, he is a fantastic player and a great captain. But what happens when he is not available? The team seems to fall apart. That happened in the second half against Aston Villa. United had no creativity, no direction, no leadership. That is a problem. If this injury forces other players to step up and become leaders, that could actually be good for the team in the long run. Obviously, United fans would prefer to have Bruno fit and playing. But if the silver lining is that Lisandro Martinez becomes more vocal, Luke Shaw takes more responsibility, and some of the other players start showing more leadership, then at least something positive comes from this difficult situation. Breaking down the tactical challenge for Amorim. Let me put on my tactical hat for a minute and talk about what this injury crisis means for how United will play against Newcastle. Amorim plays a 3-4-3 system. That means 3 centre-backs, 2 wing-backs, 2 central midfielders, and 3 attackers. This system requires very specific types of players in certain positions. In midfield, Bruno Fernandes has been playing as one of the 2 central midfielders. His job is to create chances, make passes, and link the defense to the attack. Without Bruno, who plays in that position? Option 1 is to move Lisandro Martinez forward from centre back into midfield. We saw this against West Ham. The problem is that Martinez is not a natural midfielder. He is a centre-back who happens to be good on the ball. Playing him in midfield weakens the defense and doesn't give you the same creativity that Bruno provides. Option 2 is to use Mason Mount. Mount is a good player when he is fit, but he has been injured so much since joining United that you never know if you can rely on him. He is also a different type of player than Bruno. Mount is more of a runner, someone who gets forward and presses. Bruno is more of a creator who sits a bit deeper and controls the game. Option 3 is to give a chance to one of the young players like Jack Fletcher. Fletcher did well when he came on recently, but throwing a teenager into the starting lineup against Newcastle is a big risk. Newcastle are a physical team. They will press high. They will make it difficult. Can a young player handle that pressure? Option 4 is to change the system completely. Maybe Amorim decides to play with 2 strikers instead of 3 midfielders. Maybe he goes with a more defensive setup and tries to hit Newcastle on the counter-attack. There are different things he could try. My guess is that Amorim will probably use a combination of these options. Maybe he starts with Mason Mount if he is fit. Maybe he brings in Fletcher at some point during the game. Maybe he uses Martinez in midfield again if he needs to. The key will be staying solid defensively and not conceding early goals. If United go 1-0 down early, it will be very difficult to come back without Bruno's creativity. Newcastle will know about United's injury problems. They will see this as a great opportunity to get a result at Old Trafford. They will probably press high and try to win the ball in dangerous areas. They will target United's makeshift midfield and try to create chances. This is going to be a tough game. There is no way around it. United are weakened by injuries. Newcastle are a good team. And this is exactly the kind of game that United have been losing in recent weeks. The draw against Aston Villa, the loss to Everton, the bad performance against West Ham. These are games United should be winning or at least competing well in. But they are not. Amorim needs to find a way to get a result against Newcastle. A win would be huge for confidence. A draw would be okay given the circumstances. But a loss would really put pressure on the team going into the game against Liverpool. What the fans are thinking right now. I have been reading comments from Manchester United fans online, and I can tell you that people are worried. The general mood is not great. Fans are concerned about the injuries, concerned about the form, and concerned about whether United can finish in the top 4 this season. Some fans are being patient with Amorim. They understand that he only joined a few months ago. They know that injuries are not his fault. They are willing to give him time to build the team and implement his ideas. These fans believe that United will improve in the second half of the season once everyone is fit and the players understand the system better. Other fans are more pessimistic. They look at the fixtures coming up, Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal, and they worry that United could drop a lot of points. If United lose 3 or 4 games in a row, suddenly they are in a real battle just to finish in the top 6. The Champions League spots start to look very far away. There is also frustration about the injury situation. Why does Manchester United always seem to have more injuries than other clubs? Is it bad luck? Is it poor training methods? Is it the medical staff? Fans want answers, but they are not getting them. Some fans are excited about the young players getting chances. They love seeing academy graduates play for the first team. That is what Manchester United is all about. If Jack Fletcher or Shea Lacey become regular players, that would be something positive to focus on during a difficult period. And then there are fans who are just tired of the whole situation. Tired of injuries, tired of inconsistent performances, tired of watching United struggle against teams they should be beating. These fans have been through so many disappointing seasons since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. They are running out of patience. I understand all of these perspectives. Being a Manchester United fan is not easy right now. The club is in transition. There is a new manager trying to implement a new system. There are injury problems. There are questions about certain players. It is a difficult time. But here is what I would say to all United fans reading this. We have to support the team. We have to back Amorim. And we have to be realistic about where we are as a club right now. United are not going to win the Premier League this season. That ship has sailed. But we can still have a good season. We can still finish in the top 4. We can still win a cup competition. And we can still see progress under the new manager. The injuries are frustrating, but they will not last forever. Bruno will come back. Kobbie will come back. Maguire and De Ligt will come back. When everyone is fit, United will be a better team. Until then, we need to stick together and support the players who are available. Looking ahead, what needs to happen against Newcastle? Let me tell you what I think needs to happen for United to get a result against Newcastle on Friday night. First, United need to start well. No slow starts. No conceding in the first 10 minutes. No gifting Newcastle easy chances. The team needs to be focused from the first whistle. Amorim mentioned this in the press conference. He said if the team is really focused, they can win any game. He is right. Focus and concentration will be crucial. Second, United need to be solid defensively. With Bruno out, United will probably have less control of the ball. They will create fewer chances. That means they cannot afford to concede soft goals. The defense needs to be organized. The wing-backs need to help out. Everyone needs to do their defensive duties. Third, United need one of the attackers to step up. Marcus Rashford needs to have a good game. Rasmus Højlund needs to be a threat. Alejandro Garnacho needs to use his pace. Someone needs to score goals because with Bruno out, the goals are going to be harder to come by. Fourth, United need energy from midfield. Whoever plays in Bruno's position needs to work hard, press the Newcastle midfielders, and win second balls. Newcastle have good midfielders like Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. United cannot let them control the game. Fifth, United need to be smart with substitutions. Amorim has shown he is willing to make changes during games. He needs to watch the game carefully and react to what is happening. If something is not working, he needs to change it quickly. If United need a goal late in the game, he needs to bring on attacking players and take risks. If United do all of these things, they have a chance to win. But it will not be easy. Newcastle are well coached by Eddie Howe. They have good players. They will come to Old Trafford with confidence. This is going to be a battle. The bigger picture. Where does this leave United's season? Let me zoom out for a minute and talk about the bigger picture. Where does this injury crisis leave Manchester United's season? Right now, United are sitting in a position where they can still finish in the top 4. They are not too far behind the teams above them. But they are also not too far ahead of the teams below them. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining what kind of season this becomes. If United can navigate this difficult period without dropping too many points, they will be in a good position when everyone comes back from injury. Imagine having Bruno, Kobbie, Maguire, and De Ligt all fit and available in February and March. That is a much stronger team. United could go on a good run and climb up the table. But if United lose to Newcastle, then lose to Liverpool, then struggle in the other games during this period, suddenly the season looks very different. Suddenly United are in a battle just to finish 6th or 7th. The gap to the top 4 becomes too big to close. And the pressure on Amorim increases massively. This is why the Newcastle game is so important. It sets the tone for this difficult period. A win would give everyone confidence. A loss would create panic. Amorim knows this. The players know this. And the fans definitely know this. The transfer window opens in January, and there have been rumours about United wanting to sign new players. But even if United bring in 1 or 2 players in January, they will need time to settle in. The current squad needs to handle the next few weeks with the players they have available. This is a test for Amorim. This is a test for the players. And this is a test for Manchester United as a club. Can they handle adversity? Can they find solutions when things are difficult? Can they come together and fight for results even when key players are missing? We are about to find out the answers to these questions. My prediction for Friday night. You are probably wondering what I think will happen against Newcastle. Well, let me give you my honest prediction. I think it will be a very tight game. I think United will struggle to create many clear chances without Bruno. I think Newcastle will make it difficult and will have their own chances to score. My prediction is a 1-1 draw. I think United will score first, probably from a set piece or from a moment of individual quality from one of the attackers. But I think Newcastle will equalise at some point in the second half. Both teams will have chances to win it, but it will end level. A draw would not be a disaster given the circumstances. It would keep United in touch with the teams above them. And it would give Amorim more time to get his injured players back before the really big games. Of course, I hope I am wrong and United win 3-0. I would love nothing more than to see United dominate Newcastle and prove that they can cope without Bruno. But based on recent performances and the injury situation, I think a draw is the most likely outcome. We will see what happens on Friday night. One thing is for sure, it will be an interesting game to watch. Final thoughts and what to watch for. As we wrap up this deep dive into Amorim's press conference and the injury situation, let me leave you with some final thoughts. This is a challenging time for Manchester United. There is no point in pretending otherwise. The injuries are piling up. The fixtures are difficult. And the pressure is building. But this is also an opportunity. An opportunity for other players to step up. An opportunity for young players to show what they can do. And an opportunity for United to show character and resilience. Ruben Amorim seems to understand the situation clearly. He is not panicking. He is not making excuses. He is just getting on with the job and trying to find solutions. That is exactly what United need from their manager right now. As fans, our job is to support the team. Yes, we can be critical when things go wrong. Yes, we can demand better when the performances are not good enough. But we also need to recognize when the team is dealing with difficult circumstances. Missing your captain, your best young midfielder, and 2 important defenders is difficult for any team. When you watch the game on Friday night, pay attention to a few things. Watch how United set up without Bruno. Watch which players step up and take responsibility. Watch how the young players handle the pressure if they play. And watch how Amorim reacts to what happens during the game. This period of games will tell us a lot about this Manchester United team and this manager. It will show us who has character, who can handle pressure, and who is ready to fight for the club. Stay connected with United Daily Updates. Thank you so much for reading this detailed breakdown of Ruben Amorim's press conference. I hope you found it helpful and informative. I tried to cover every important point, give you context about the situation, and share my honest thoughts about what it all means. If you enjoyed this content, please make sure you subscribe to United Daily Updates on YouTube. We are your most trusted source for Manchester United news and analysis. We bring you updates every single day. We cover press conferences, matches, transfer news, and everything else related to the club we all love. Also, drop a comment and let me know what you think. Do you agree with my prediction? Are you worried about the injury situation? How do you think United will cope without Bruno? I love reading your opinions and having discussions with fellow United fans. Make sure you come back here after the game on Friday for our full match analysis. We will break down what happened, look at the tactics, discuss the performances, and talk about what it means for United going forward. Remember, being a Manchester United fan is a journey. There will be ups and downs. There will be good times and difficult times. But we stick together. We support the team. And we never give up hope. Come on, United. Let's get that win on Friday night. Let's show everyone what this team is made of even without some key players. Let's make Old Trafford a fortress again. Until next time, keep supporting Manchester United, keep believing, and keep that red flag flying high. Thanks for being part of the United Daily Updates family and remember to subscribe. We will see you in the next one.